it's Saved by Vape again, and today it will not be another juice review. Today it's going to be a hardware review on the Twisted Messes Squared, or the Twisted Messes version 2. Let's go down, look at it, I'll show you everything up close, and then afterwards I'll go over it a little bit more, I'll vape on it some more, we'll talk about the flavor, the price, everything. Alright?
Alright, so this is the box that the Twisted Messes Squared, or version 2, whatever you want to call it, comes in. Pretty standard box. The only difference on this and the other one is that this one says manufactured by Wismec, whereas the other one, Twisted Messes, partnered with Vape. So inside, what we have is the main dripper, obviously. We have a bag of extra O-rings and a 510 drip tip adapter, bag of spare grub screws, a silver AFC ring. I have the black one installed right now. And then it also comes with it's not Delrin, but I will put the name of it in an annotation. It's a different sort of high temperature plastic material drip tip, and then the stainless steel one that I have installed here. So one other thing that's really nice, if I can get this out of here, there we go. You got this piece right here, which is actually a hex screwdriver, and you can take this and you can attach it to one of those like multi-head screwdrivers. You can also wrap coils around it if you so felt like it. It's only a 1.5 millimeter though, so pretty small. But this is great. It makes screwing in the screws so easy. It's just, there's no slipping around. It's not flimsy. It's just very hefty. Alright, so now we get to the dripper itself. Mine is going to be built and cottoned already, and I'm not going to uninstall any of that. So if you're looking for a build video on this, then this video is not for you. I'm just showing it. So under the hood here, I can take this off. Very good. We have this build deck, and I guess my coil in there is kind of going to be in the way. But so basically what we have is 2 posts with 2 holes on them each. So what I did was I built my coils directly in the center here using just these 2 to make it nice and easy to center those coils. But you can build it from the outside to the inside of the second and the other way around, or if you're doing some crazy series builds, you could build from outside to outside, and like I said, I did middle to middle, so it gives you lots of options. So if you can see that under the cotton here, there's a lot of space that goes through under these 2 posts. So one difference between this and the version 1, other than the different posts obviously, is a nice open center in the middle where juice can fill in. The negative post is milled directly to the deck, and then the positive post, is that what it is? Yeah, the negative is directly to the deck, and the positive has a peak insulator at the bottom, and it's in like this U kind of shape, and obviously this one is attached directly, so no worries of, sorry I got that backwards, this one is attached directly, and the positive is the one that has that space right there. You're not going to experience any sort of weird spinning or anything, and I believe the post holes are 2.8 millimeters, so you get a nice, you know, no problems fitting anything in. Like I said, I just used these 2 middle holes, and these are fused claptons with 26 gauge cores, 2 of them wrapped in 32 gauge, and both those coils are sharing a hole each, and there was no problem to that at all. So you can pretty much put whatever you want on here. Alright, so now we have the top cap. O-rings on this are lovely, nice click, nice snug, doesn't come off easy. I don't know if you saw a second ago, but it's not easy to get it off just by gripping on these threads. You're not going to have any worry about it just falling off on your mod or anything. This piece is a little bit loose because the O-rings are on the inside there and not on the drip tip itself. So once they get pretty wet, it's snug, but it's also, I mean, you can see that comes out pretty easily. But it's not going to just come out randomly, you know, it's not a problem at all. I actually like the fit of it a lot, and I like the look of it a lot too. So this top piece unscrews, the threads are really, really smooth, no worries there. And then you have your outer AFC ring that just slides across it like this. And hopefully this is going to be in focus. Hopefully, I hope so. The smallest you can do is this one airflow hole here. You can do 2 squares, or you could do all open or anything in between. And it also has a single coil option with only 2 of those square holes. I'm obviously running it in dual coils, and I prefer it with 2 of the 3 squares open. I think the flavor is the best like that. The other thing to note is if you've owned the Twisted Messes version 1, or if you've seen any videos on it, then you've seen that this AFC ring on here, on the version 1, spins very freely, but it's definitely more snug on here. So it holds in place a lot better than the version 1. Like I said, you can use the stainless one if you feel like it. I like the look of the black one. And you also have the 2 materials for the drip tip. Screw that back in nice. And there you have the entire thing right here. Alright, let's go back up top.
Alright everyone, so that was the up close of the Twisted Messes V2, or Twisted Messes Squared RDA. One thing that I forgot to mention in the close-up video was that the what's it called? The 510 pin on the bottom of here is not adjustable. I think that's because since they did that 2-post design where it's coming up like this, the positive post that is screwed in on the bottom is being held in directly by the 510. So if you unscrew the 510, you're going to loosen that post. But it does seem to protrude out like 1 millimeter, maybe 2 millimeters. I'm not going to make any recommendations on what to do with a hybrid mod or not. That's up to you, your discretion. You can decide whether or not it'll fit. I personally, I would try it, but like I said, not adjustable. So anyway, let's just talk about the flavor on this. I have the holes open like I showed them down below, the 2 out of the 3 squared holes. And let's vape it. Before, I am currently using the loaded glazed donut e-juice that I just did a review on the other day. It's a 70-30 blend. And yeah, that's all I say. And it'll be at 90 watts. The flavor on this is very, very good. Definitely better than the version 1 Twisted Messes. Now, I think that's for 2 reasons. One, if you can see this, it's shorter, not including the drip tip, but it's about 1 millimeter, maybe 2 millimeters shorter. Smaller dripper means more flavor. And one thing that I didn't really like about the first Twisted Messes was that obviously there's this huge clunking drip tip that's just absolutely massive. I mean, look, you can see the whole build deck down there, and it's pretty common knowledge that the most airflow you can get out of an RDA depends on the smallest airflow. And so if you take airflow there and add it up, you're probably dealing with half that size. So this whole size here was just unnecessary, and not that it wasn't a good vape, but to me, using the standard top cap on the version 1, it felt a little unnatural. The draw was just a little bit weird. Probably, to be honest, my favorite thing about the version 2 is the feel. It's so smooth. It feels so natural. Even wide open, it's definitely very airy. If you like an airy vape, you get tons of airflow. But the draw just feels so natural and so clean. And the flavor on this is just really solid. It tastes so good. One other thing I gotta mention is, if you saw my review on it, or if you've heard of it elsewhere, this is a Trinity glass top cap for the Twisted Messes V1. And take off the top cap there. So if you own one of these, bam, still fits on the version 2 and still looks awesome. With no problems with the tightness too. It feels exactly the same. I would say that the O-rings on the version 2 are just slightly tighter, but I mean really slightly. It's barely noticeable. The flavor is definitely better. So let's talk about a little bit more of the specs and the price. We'll start with the price. Pretty much anywhere you go, I've looked on a couple different websites, and right now I'm looking at twistedmesses.com, and this is $70 US. So I would not consider that cheap. I know there are drippers out there you can get for $150. You know, there's $200 drippers out there. There's a $500 dripper out there. If you ever heard of the atty, thing's insane. But $500, no. But if you compare it to, like, say your Sapor RDA or your Mini Mutation X, things like that, those drippers are around $20, $25. So this, you're dealing with around triple the price of those. So it's definitely not cheap, but it's also not overly expensive. I think $70 for this is definitely worth it. I did pay for this. The build quality is just so good. It's fun to build on and easy with so many different options. Post holes are huge. Flavor is a big improvement. And for $70, you're getting 2 airflow rings, you're getting 2 drip tips, you're getting a solid kick-ass dripper, and you get that awesome little hex tool that I showed you down there that's definitely better than your average flimsy piece of junk elbow-looking Allen key. It's just so fun to use this dripper. I've only had it for a couple hours. So because I've only had it for a couple hours, I can attest for the flavor and the build quality and all that stuff. But I don't know yet about the paint on here. On my version 1, the black and gold one, I have not chipped the paint on that at all. I've dropped it a couple times, I've used it, I've pulled it on, put it off over and over and over again, blah, 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 normal stuff. Haven't gotten any scratches on that, and this seems to be the identical finish. But if you are worried about paint smearing off, and I'm definitely one of those people, it comes with a stainless steel ring, so you don't have to worry about that, which is really cool. As for the drip tip, that I couldn't think of the name of it. It's called Radel or Radel. It's a high temperature plastic with a slightly lower melting point than Peak. So I assume that it's a higher melting point than Delrin, but still lower than Peak. And Peak is the one that they use on the positive post on the inside of this. Yeah, I think that's really all there is to talk about. It's definitely a really nice dripper. I mean, this is subjective and everything, but I think it looks sweet. It's definitely shorter than the first one. It just looks so good. The logo on there is nice. You got your little Twisted Messes 2. Well, where does it say that? Yeah, sorry. The 2 right there above the above Twisted Messes symbol. Oh, and like I also said, that this is made by Wismec, Jabo, and Twisted Messes, whereas the other ones were Comp Vape. One little gripe I have with Comp Vape is that it seems, I mean, I've owned a Comp Vape RDA and I've looked into a bunch of other ones. It seems that they've released the same RDA over and over and over again. And you can argue that, but it's like they release the same drip tips, they release the same airflow types, it's the same thing with those outer rings. And, you know, every now and then the deck changes. But other than that, nothing wrong with the Comp Vape RDA. They make quality products. But, it seems like they release the same RDA over and over again. Wismec is a great company. They seem to be coming out with some really awesome stuff lately. And the fact that they partnered up with Twisted Messes and Jabo, the guy who invented the Tobe Addy, and who also worked on the Wismec Rouleau, which I have right here, I just think it's a great pairing. I think they upped the machining quality a little bit, especially with this ring that's a little bit tighter than the last version. It's just so nice. It's really great. I don't know what else I can say without really just rambling on longer, so I'll end it there. Thanks for watching, guys. Damn good.